Hey guys, back in the garden once again. Urban Gardener DC out here in the community bed. It's actually a pretty decent afternoon, about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, early evening. Finally, yesterday evening, we've been getting all sorts of alerts, storm alerts, and whatnot over the last month and a half. But finally, we actually got 3/4 of an inch of rain last night, which was much needed. I'm extremely happy about that. Garden, it looks good. I mean, it was probably close to 24 hours ago when we got that rain. But I came out this morning, and I know you guys have seen me posting recently about our nemesis, the groundhog. So I set that trap yesterday. Came out this morning. I caught a squirrel. Just a regular gray squirrel. Caught a squirrel. Was kind of a little intimidated because it was jumping around, bouncing all around in the cage. So I kind of got close to it, got close to the cage, and just kind of sat there and let them kind of assume that I was not going to be a threat. Was the biggest thing. I didn't want one to get clawed or even bitten or anything. But so the squirrel was just being a Mr. Nosy Bird, and actually didn't even eat the cantaloupe that I put in the cage, or didn't eat the tomato. Nothing, right? But I'm not sure if I caught him last night or this morning. Couldn't tell. But all of the fruit that was in the cage was just covered in dirt. He had rolled around and tried to get out for hours. I'm assuming at least for hours, even if I caught him at the crack of dawn this morning. But regardless, I was able to put my gloves on, set the squirrel free. He kind of ran up the tree, looked back at me, and then took off into the forest. I don't know if he said thank you or not, but regardless. So we caught a squirrel, released him. Now I'll walk over here quickly just so you guys can see the setup. So back here is where that groundhog was. I've seen the groundhog walk down to this fence, come along this fence line behind this compost bin and walk around, right? And he walks around over to the other corner over there. But I put the trap right in his pathway. So he comes down from the woods, walks around this fence line, and I put his trap right down there. We still have the fresh cantaloupe from this morning. I put in two chunks to lead him to the cage, and then 2 larger chunks after the step that will hopefully close the cage and trap the groundhog, so we can just go ahead and relocate them. This is more evidence of groundhog just crushing the kale, crushing the broccoli. But enough with that. I wanted to do a quick garden tour of where we stand with a lot of stuff and give you guys kind of an idea of some of the harvesting we can do. Yeah, so we got a nice size yellow squash, probably about 7 or 8 inches. This is in the leftover squash bed that I created. Then in the community bed you see here, we have eggplants coming in. Little baby one up here. But I'm assuming in the next day or two they'll be close to eater size. And of course, tons of peppers that I'll harvest today. Pepperoncinis are starting to change color, so I should probably pick some of those. Jalapenos, doing okay. There's maybe 4 or 5 on each plant. Another squash right here, flowers but no fruit yet. And then we also have these Roma tomatoes, which I'll definitely pick. There's at least probably a dozen on this plant by itself, going all the way down. And then we also have another style tomato back here. Pepper wise, we're getting down to slim pickings there. The okra that was booming, this okra right here, I think there was 6 or 8 plants. We have harvested them to death, and I think they're done with production because I'm seeing it go to flower up here, or at least what appears to be going to flower. Another eggplant, some more cherry tomatoes that I'll definitely pick some more of. Those are great just to slice and saute. You know, really, really great looking. It's called a gardener's delight. And then back here we have one that I've never grown before, but is extremely good taste-wise. This is that honeycomb, the honeycomb cherry. And these suckers, they're not big, but they are packed with flavor. You know, I'm gonna pick, I don't know, like 8 or 10 of them, and to give you some perspective-wise, they are not huge. Oops, almost dropped them. They're not huge, but they are abundant with flavor. They're really, really tasty. That honeycomb was actually a variety that I picked up from, you remember I did a video on dollar store seeds where I got 4 packs of seeds for $1. So where did I buy 8 of them, I think, and germinated all of them. And then we also have down here, I do not remember this variety of tomato, but it was in an area that I thought was honeycomb, but they're a great size. I would say, I don't know, 3 inches, but they're a great size for slicing, either in like a salad or maybe some sort of a stir fry. You could probably, honestly, you could probably just sauce them as well. But they're really abundant through here. Looks like this one got a bird. No, actually, this actually is not a bird. This looks like blossom end rot. That's what it looks like to me, which is common if you don't have the proper nutrients in the soil, or you have an inconsistency of those nutrients. Your fruit can develop blossom end rot, which is, from what I know, basically a calcium deficiency. Let me get in here and grab this last one. Calcium deficiency, where you can just use, I'm actually blanking on it right now. I'm having a brain freeze. But yeah, so the calcium deficiency is what causes that blossom end rot. And let's see what else we have harvest-wise. Oh, you know what? I know. I wanted to show you guys. Over here in my personal bed, there is a Better Boy tomato in here that is the size of my hand. And it's going to be hard to get to it with the netting. But this sucker is about 5 finger lengths wide. And it's so, I want to, do I want to? Yeah, I want to pick it because I don't want something to get to it. So, as you see, this sucker is the size of my hand. And it doesn't want to come off. But my gosh, look at the size of this thing. Huge. Oh, and we do have some ants in it. So I'm glad I picked it because it looks like, let's see, looks like with all that rain that we just got, it was starting to split. And that creates a problem because the ants find out, because the juices are starting to come out of the tomato. It's not fully ripe, but I think with the inconsistent rain, it did split. But going in my stomach, I don't care what you say. I'm going to put it over here with the rest of these that I just picked, with those little honeycombs. And then I still don't know what this variety is, but it's a great, great tasting tomato, great slicing tomato. I just saw down here with these tomatoes, I have some eggplant coming in. I should probably pick, well, there is this right here. That is the super steak. I think I mentioned in a previous video, one of the other community gardeners picked the first one that I had coming in, which is fine. It's a community bed, but I was really hoping to get my hands on it at first. But you know what? Oh well. It's the whole purpose of having a community garden is for everybody. So yeah, I'm gonna keep picking tomatoes. I'm gonna pick the rest of these down here. And well, because we did look at it the other day, let me just look briefly and see if we have any beans coming in, because Mr. Groundhog sure as heck plucked these pretty clean. If you look, I mean, just bitten, leaves just bitten right off, but we still have a lot of flowers. So I'm actually hopeful if we can eradicate the groundhog soon, that'll be before the flowers come in. Actually, I'm looking right here, we have green pepper coming in too. We have four different green peppers that I put back here. In a previous video, now we got, no, we have little baby peppers coming in right there. The other squash is flowering, but no fruit yet. And then I'm thinking back here in this back end, so I'm all the way from the gate down there, I'm all the way in the back of this community bed. These squash are, well, actually there's a zucchini back here that is performing a little. What I'm afraid of is because it's kind of hidden in disguise back here, that the groundhog might get that zucchini before me. It's not really big enough to pick, but I'm gonna have to gamble it. But I gotta. So right back in that corner, I'm whispering, but the groundhog is back there, destroying the cantaloupe slice that I let a trail going into the trap. So we'll see what happens.